This video is a dig by my friend Lorraine. She's been targeted for quite some time. It's pretty horrific. Before I go into this, I'm going to introduce you to her. Please add her on your page. Follow her. She comes out with all kinds of tips and tricks and different elements discussing targeting. Okay, so let's just kind of peek over at her page. So this is Lorraine's page. She came up with this. This is her dig, and it's relevant to those in the United States. Unfortunately, in Canada, all the private military contractors and stuff, I believe, are under secret orders in council, and they clearly are working with entities that are not NATO members. So who would those entities be? Ireland, Austria, Australia, Brazil, Argentina. There are multiple countries that are not NATO members that are tied to this that we find ourselves routing to. Ironically, Ireland does the automation in biomedical research. So that you can look up. Why they're invested in this? Well, I guess that this is part of their pension plan and or investment plan. So let's go and check out what Lorraine has found. Amazing find. What an awesome digger. Awesome. So Lorraine has found that with the defense contractors in her state, what have you got? You've got lists of them. You've got lists of the defense contractors and the amounts they've been allocated for research and development projects. Look at how much money for one state is issued. Like, that's crazy amounts of money. Like, what is that? It's in the billions of dollars. Going all the way back to the year 2000, that's 20 years. 20 years. And it breaks it down by the defense contractor totals for contracts in Kentucky. Click on a county name for more detail. So that's the defense contractors. Look at this. Number of defense contracts awarded. This is just for the state of Kentucky. Just look at that. Look at this crazy amount of dollars and cents. Where does that money come from? Well, that money would come from, I guess, the taxpayers. It's not like the government comes up with magical monies. That's got to come out of taxation. I mean, just look at this, these gobs of cash. Redonkulous. This is ridiculous, right? How many people could that feed? How many people could that house? Wow. Amazing. This link will be in the description box. Her link will be also in the description box, but she also found something else pertaining to drones. So when people tell you that drones are not involved, know that they're lying, because this is a ground and air system with private military contractors. I know who the military contractor is doing this to myself and my family. And it's tied directly to an elected person who represented a person who's in prison for rape. Isn't that great? A famous guy that's, in prison for rape. That's all I'm going to say. He's special. So she shares drone info, military drone called a target drone. A target drone is an unmanned aerial vehicle, generally remote controlled, usually used in the training of anti-aircraft crews. One of the earliest drones was blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's go and check out this register on the FAA. So we've got the Federal Aviation Administration here in the United States, where they register the drones. You have to get a call sign. When you are operating a drone that has a certain weight, you have to get the equivalent of a pilot's license. So if it's carrying something that's going to deliver a payload, such as a DO, they likely are using very specific persons to operate the drones. And what does that mean? It also means your system, your environment, has been mapped out, as in the latitude and the longitude, in a surveillance grid. So your area is being surveilled from the air from a drone. Let's see who their friends are, because I've been socially mapping these guys for quite some time. So we've got the FAA. Who else is in the FAA that they're friends with? Oh, Okay, so we've got a couple of victims who know. So Snowy is a victim. She's been recording drones. Lisa is a victim. She's been recording drones for several years. So we've got Dodd, Cybercrime Center, General Dynamics, Flying Fox, Len Rom. She is a victim. Her son just died. Sorry, Len. Canadian UAV, so that's Canada, Unmanned Aerial Vehicles Solutions. Rolls-Royce is a private they're a military contractor. They've been in operation, I think, since the early 1970s. And I think that they also work with Bristol Aerospace. Northrop Grumman, Canada Unmanned Aerial Vehicles. Magellan Aerospace. So it's important to do this mapping for social mapping to see who's come into your computer, who their friends are. I recorded the routes and followed the people, and that's all I use my Twitter for. I don't do any other social mapping with, like Instagram or all these other things. I couldn't be bothered. These people, they have big egos, so they always want to be on Twitter. They talk to each other, they advertise their stuff. And so police do social mapping a lot better than I can, but this is just my own little system. ATF headquarters. Hansen Air Force Base or Hanscom. Look at that. European Union in the US. Akins Realis, was formerly SNC-Lavalin. So SNC-Lavalin was involved in a big skirmish, a political skirmish in Canada. So what are they? They are project managers, property developers. They're a big engineering firm. And there was investigations over it, and the police declined to press criminal charges. So to get rid of that whole skirmish with their former name, SNC-Lavalin, they changed their name to Akins Realis. So that's who they are. Might as well just say SNC-Lavalin. We are a world-class engineering service and nuclear organization. World-class. Navi Canada, UPS. Association of Old Crows deals with directed energy weapons. So there's one called the DUDE, Directed Energy Weapons Society, and the Association of Old Crows is a whole bunch of persons involved in electronic warfare. So if you want to learn about electronic warfare, Nels Melzer, who actually defined cyber torture, I believe what is occurring is electronic warfare. So they've weaponized or honed in the electrical grid to create big swaths of electrical energy. Well, we know that there's laws where you can't build next to an electrical plant because you die. What happens? You die of cancer. So it's limits of exposure. Every home is supposed to fall no higher, I think, than 0.5 millivolts for exposure in a home. So what I've recorded is over 500,000 millivolts of exposure in burst pulses, in very specific burst pulses coming from multiple directions. Well, what would that be classified as? Likely electronic warfare. Let's keep going down here. Oh, look at that. Winnipeg Airport. U.S. Naval. Marc Garneau. Navy Special Politique, but now retired. Life Sciences. Helping GXP Life Sciences companies build. I guess, the military-industrial complex has jumped into, research and development projects, and that's why they're getting huge grants. I mean, what happens when the people go broke? There's no more research and development grants. General Electric Aerospace. Boeing, they're military contract, Thales. So in every TI's computer system, there will be a Thales collection system. So you can start unhiding your files and start looking for them. The system I found worked within life sciences, military, governments, health research, etc. And the system, I think, was about $50,000. So not an ordinary toy that you can buy for that system. Here's Ezra Levant. He's an alternative media personality. It's kind of odd to find him connected to this, but I think he's also into real estate, which I'd found a few years ago when I looked at his source code. He was linking to the legislative here locally, and he was in a EPA or EAP filing system of phone numbers with people from all over the world, which is listed in the backbone of the internet. He was also the founder of another website. I had that recorded on my old channel. And it looked like they had a working group functionally that was global in nature with elected persons. I thought that was pretty odd. So here we've got 911 security, BCD, Northrop Grumman, Massachusetts Institutes of Technology review. MIT, I found they use a masking system where they mask, I guess PSJC, I think. Don't quote me on that, but it is though it looks like it's mirroring straight to a mayor's office in St. Petersburg. I think it's a masking system as a decoy. So I stumbled upon that within one day of each other, where I looked at MIT and they were using this masking system. So it wasn't actually Russia. And this fellow is involved in massive routings. So here we go. He's Salesforce Constellation Research. What's a constellation? That's locations in space and time above the ground, right? IBM. So what are we talking about? We've had Mr. Flynn and we've had also Mr. Beltran disclosing the IBM Brain Implant Neurochip 2020. So that document came out a few years ago. I had a copy of that document, but I did not have a copy of the really great document that Mr. Beltran now has. Mr. Beltran is legitimate. You can follow him. You can follow Mr. Flynn. He's legitimate. I have to say that most of the TI groups out there who will not discuss unmanned aerial vehicle systems, drones, ground weapon systems, transmitters, transformers, they're just not relevant because this all plays a role in the local ground systems. So let's take a peek at, I think we'll go to Canada UAVs. So we'll look at the Canada UAV solutions. Who are their friends? So SBC Drone Consultants for Hire. I mean, the whole world is like getting in on drones. So Drone Volt sticks out in my mind. It can wirelessly charge this drone off of power lines. So you could just hover over them, collect a full charge, and keep on chucking along. That's what the ability of that Drone Volt that I had found. So we've got a lot of work to do with looking at data, and I'm already at the 14-minute mark. These links will be in the description box. We need to go through them together as a community. You may find something, you may have more patience to go through listings of the contractors, search for them in your state, and how many of them are using drones. All right, hopefully this was of use to you, and please add my friend Lorraine. This is Lorraine's page. She's a digger, and she doesn't even know she's a digger. Her link will be in the description box. Thank her for sharing this invaluable information for the community. I'm going to submit some of this stuff to Mr. Flynn. He'll try to figure out if he can incorporate it into the large class action that he has currently ongoing. Have a great day, everybody.